Meet Gabe Gabriel, former NASA engineer at Canada Space Center and ex-director of engineering for USA Air Force Special Operation Command. In this interview, he shares his inspiring journey across aerospace, defense, and global speaking and personal service, including guiding a blind triathlete. Tune in for a conversation full of insight, motivation, and real world wisdom. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you, and I thank you for the opportunity to share this
Thank,
time with you.
thank you, Gabe, sir. My first question is, what first inspiring you to pursue engineering and what shaped your uh, passion for this field?
Yeah, well, yeah, I talk a little bit. First, I always say, I thank you for calling me Gabe. I appreciate it. I ask everyone to call me Gabe. That's a nickname. And I know because of age or culture, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Like, call me anything you like, but that's what I prefer. So I talk a lot about how I struggled as a kid. I hated school. I did really poorly in school, and I really, really struggled. And I really, oh, I love the beach and I love sports, and I didn't like anything else. So when I finished high school, I really couldn't get any kind of job, and I didn't have an ability to do anything in my mind other than play sports. So I started out working at McDonald's and making burgers and fries and doing all kinds of fun things. I thought at the time, but I couldn't generate the income. I like to race cars, so I was trying to generate the income to race cars, and I couldn't do it. And I realized at some point that I have to go to university. And while I was playing sports after high school, one of the guys I was playing sports, I was driving a truck at the time, and the guys, well, I don't know why he said this to me, but he said, "Have you ever thought of going into engineering?" And I had never thought about it because I thought you had to be smart, and I wasn't smart, at least in my own mind. So I didn't think there was any way I could ever be an engineer. But I had met people who been engineers, and I met them, and I thought, wow, they're not so smart. If they can do it, I know I can do it. So in a roundabout way, I kind of got into it by accident. But it's like anything. You make the best of it. I enjoyed it, and I learned every day something new. And I don't think it matters what I would have done because I've learned to enjoy everything. So every day is an adventure. Every day is fun. Every day exciting, and this is the challenge to myself.
Got it. Were there a moment in your life that made you feel, yes, this is what I want to do?
uh, Probably when I got paid the first time. you know, I really did it to generate a good income because I wanted to race cars. So I was enjoying everything. It didn't matter what it was. So when I went into this, it was just something else to be enjoyed. But the income was a lot better having been to university and having a job as an engineer, a type of engineer, as opposed to driving a truck or something lesser. So I had achieved what I wanted, and the objective was really to generate the income to do something else. But yeah, I learned from it, and I learned to enjoy it, and I don't think it mattered to me what I would have done. One of the most challenging things for kids and many kids around the world, people say, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" And you don't know, and you're trying to answer, but you don't know. But my parents would always say, "What are you going to do?" I'm going to the beach. No, you got to get a job. I'm going to play sports. No, you got to get a job. So I was always fighting with my parents. So those are people who know. I have a twin sister who knew at 3 years old she wanted to be a teacher. So when they would ask her, "What do you want to do?" "I'm going to be a teacher." "Oh, that's awesome. You're going to go to college. And what are you going to do?" "I'm going to the beach." No. So I was always fighting with my parents. I was always compared to my super smart twin sister, and it was very interesting, but I took that knowledge and that experience, and I learned to really have a good life with everything. Engineering to me, it's great. It's a challenge. It's something that's a little different than I would have anticipated doing, which was going to the beach. But I had fun with it. I still have fun with everything today.
So sweet, Sir Gabe. Thank you.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
oh, how did you begin your journey at NASA Canada Space Center?
Yeah, so I was in the Air Force at the time, and there's an Air Force base very close to Kennedy Space Center. So when I was at this Air Force base, one of the guys I work with won a special award. And at that time, they were developing a space shuttle. I don't know if you know what a space shuttle is, but it's a rocket ship that looks like a plane. It goes up to space as a rocket, but it comes down like a plane. So they were developing this program, and he won a very special award to go to the very first shuttle launch. And he we got a car pass, so a bunch of us went together. And when I saw that first shuttle launch, I thought, wow, I've never seen anything like this. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And when I get out of the Air Force, I'm going to try to get a job within the space program. And I was very, very fortunate. I did that.
Oh, got it. What was one what was one project at NASA that challenged you the most and helped you, you grow?
Yeah, well, to me, I look at every day as a challenge. I look at everything I do as a challenge. So there isn't one day to me that's more challenging than the other. The challenge is always the same. How well can you do it? Can you enjoy it? And anybody can do something. Anybody can do something. The challenge is, can you enjoy it? I do these interviews because I really feel it's important to connect. I like the one-on-one time. A lot of times when I'm at schools, there's hundreds of kids, and I don't get a chance to do the one-on-one. And I love answering questions because I learn a lot from you by the questions you ask. And so for me, it's really fun to be the challenge is always, how can I enjoy it? The objective with me right now with this interview with you, after 30 minutes, you'll do the same thing the same way. You'll think about it differently. You will never have stress. You'll never have pressure. You'll never have hard work. You'll learn to think about things in a more positive way. Do the same thing the same way, but learn to enjoy it. The challenge to myself every day, not can I do something, can I enjoy doing it? When you learn to make everything you do your favorite thing to do as you do it, you're always happy. You're always having fun. And this is my approach to life.
Oh, good. What does people often misunderstanding about working at NASA?
You know, I I think the people who look outside in, it's amazing. For many people on the inside, it's just a job. They come in 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and they go home. It means nothing. It's just a job, and I think that's the saddest thing, as the people don't understand the magical environment they're in. I love every day there. I love every minute there. It's always fun. It's always exciting. Just looking around at things, and people would come in on Monday morning and say, "Oh, I can't wait till Friday. I got to work all week." I said, "This is not work. How can you call this work?" But it's a state of mind, and I think that's probably most people from the outside think, "Oh, I'd love to do that. It's so much fun." And for me, it is, but it's not that much fun for everybody because they don't look at it that way.
Oh, got it. Uh, so sweet. The history and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
As the former director of engineering for the U.S. Air Force Special Operation Command, what leadership principle guided you?
Yeah, I think within leadership comes from within, and the most important thing you need is confidence in yourself and trust in others. To me, in order to be a good leader, you have to trust those around you, but you also have to project confidence. If you don't have confidence in yourself, a belief in yourself, how can you expect others to have that belief in you? So first of all, you really have to have that inner confidence that no matter what it is, we can do it. And then you want to make sure everybody is involved equally. If there's a decision to be made, I would say, look, if there's 10 people on the team, all 10 of us get together. We're here, we got to go there. What's your input? Everybody, what's your input? How do you think we should do that based on what your part of the team is? And get their input on how to do things, and then collectively come up with a path and a common goal. And you'll be very successful. But you have to be willing to take the time to look through others' eyes, to understand why they think the way they do. And you don't have to you have to share their view, but you can accept their view as their view and try to factor it into decision making process. So at the end, everybody collectively says, yeah, this is what we want to do and this is how we're going to do it. Everybody's equal. We all have a role. We all do a role. Everybody's successful. And I think that's a common sense approach to things that I don't think many people have.
Yeah, thank you. What was the most high pressure situation you handled in that role, and how did you maintain clarity?
Yeah,
Clarity. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I did a lot of things that people would say were high pressure. For me, it was I never think of pressure. I think of a challenge or an opportunity. So I never say to myself on pressure or stress or anything. Look, it's an opportunity for me to do something I've never done before. One time I had to speak with a special audience, and it was I'd never done anything like that. I'd never done it in that forum before, and I thought a little bit about how am I going to do this, and I really didn't put a whole lot into it. And when I get up there, I just did it. I just said what I thought I believed, and I said what I wanted to say, and that comes from an inner confidence and the belief that hey, this is what I believe, and this is what I want to share with you, and this is how we can benefit from it. And I think I handled those situations extremely well. I felt really good afterwards because I'd never done anything like that, but I never really self doubted either. I never was nervous about it. I was never intimidated by it. It was something very, very special. And with that, you say to yourself, okay, I did that. I can do anything. Anytime you do something, you build your confidence, you build that belief in yourself, and you remind yourself constantly that of your successes, and you never fail. Never. We always learn. Anytime we do something, it doesn't go as expected. We learn more than when it does go as expected. So we never fail. It's always a learning experience, and it's a great way to be a better person.
Oh, yes, thank you. How, how does leadership in the Air Force differ from leadership in a civilian engineering environment?
Yeah, I don't think either one is. They're the same to me. It's never about. It's always about people. And there's people in the Air Force and there's people in the civilian environment. The people in the Air Force is kind of a class structured. It's a different kind of mentality because you have a rank, and a rank gives you a position, it gives you authority. Well, you don't necessarily see that with people walking around in the street. But it's the same thing to me. You've got to be able to relate to people, and one of the poor things about the military or any class structure, people can get in position of authority, and because of progress to a certain point, they have the authority, and they can tell others what to do who may know more than them. But again, that happens in any kind of environment. So I think it's just important to relate to others. I have this thing, you know, you always want to be respectful of others and you want to be kind to others. If you do that, then to me, everything else comes back to you many times over. And as a leader, you want to do that. You want to show kindness and you want to show support, and you want to take the time to listen if things aren't going well. And you never want to be critical. Those are things you want to do. We want to build people's confidence and help them feel better about themselves. And once they feel better about themselves, they're going to do more. They're going to feel, enjoy it more. And I think that's the role as well. I often say to teachers, you don't want to teach books. You want to teach life. You experience so much life. Share your life with them. Don't be afraid to say, I messed up when I was in school too, or some of the negatives that you've overcome. So you become more real. And that's one of the reasons I always ask everyone to call me Gabe, because I just want to be treated, as a friend, as somebody not above you, not beside you. Right now we're a team. Me and you, we're a team. Together we have an objective. I can't do it without you. You can't do it without me. So we need each other. And in honesty, the person doing the interview is more important than me. You lead the interview. You ask the questions. You lead the person down a path, and the interviewer is really very important.
Thank you. Got it. You serve. You serve as a sighted guide for a blind tra- uh, triathlete. Athlete. What inspired you to take this one?
So on Kennedy Space Center, we had this space shuttle. When it came back like a plane, and it had a runway like a commercial airport. But on this plane, on this runway, was really a long runway because the shuttle came back so fast it needed a long way to stop. And every year we would have a 5K run. People would go out and just run on the shuttle landing strip, just because of the magic of the environment. This is where space shuttles land, and you're out there running around. It's so cool. And I had been done it a few years, and my buddy Randall, who was blind, he said to me, "Hey Gabe, I want to do this 5K," and I said, "Okay, let's go do it." But he said, "I can't run. I want to walk." I said, "Man, I'm not walking 5K. You know how long that's going to take? We're going to run." And he said, "I can't." And I said, "But you do everything else. Let's go figure this out." So we started by just walking side by side and talking, and then I said, "Okay, let's run a little bit," and we got to where we could run and talk with each other. And then all of a sudden, we he went online and he found out, hey, if we hold a little rope, we can do this much better. So we did that, and from there, one thing came up about doing a triathlon. Triathlon is swimming, biking, and running. So this is pretty challenging for someone who can't see, but we did it as a team, and it's really important. And it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life, because people would come up to him afterwards and say, I have a son who's blind or a daughter who can't walk, and you've given them incentive, you've given them hope to do things, and so that was an amazing experience.
Thank you. What key message do you try to deliver through your speaking engagements?
Yes, so my message is the same, and I thank you for the opportunity to share it. So I talk about three things: do your best, enjoy what you do, believe in yourself. If you learn those three things, you'll never work. Nothing will ever be hard. You'll never have stress. You'll never have pressure. You'll be very successful and enjoy doing it. Do your best. That's pretty easy. Challenge yourself no matter what it is with this interview. How well can I do it? I do that with everything in your life. There's going to be instances like with me when I had to do something, had to do my best. I was put in this situation. I do my best all the time. It was no big deal. I just did my best. It was easy because you're used to doing it. Always do your best. Enjoy everything you do. It's a little more challenging. Some people, I'd like to do this more than other. Why do you like to do that one more than other? You think you do. Learn to like everything you do, and learn to like it equally. It is possible if you train your mind. If you can't find a positive in something, say could be worse, then it becomes a positive. Never have a negative experience. And the most important thing, believe in yourself. Very few people have that. How do you get that belief in yourself? Most things start as a thought or a dream. You take that dream and you write it down and say, "This is my goal." And you ask yourself, what steps do I take to achieve it? Don't be in a hurry. Take small steps. The smaller the step, the easier it is to accomplish. Easier it is to accomplish, it helps you develop belief in yourself and that confidence in yourself. And you want to build that very, very slowly. Don't be in a hurry. Build and build. One day you will say to yourself, I can do anything. When you believe you can do anything, you will never have stress. You'll never have pressure. You just believe you can do it. And when you enjoy it, you do it better. And that's my message I always want to share.
Yeah, thank you. So beautiful thinking, Sir Gabe. Okay. Uh, what what has this experience taught you about trust, resilience, and human connection?
The experience, which experience?
Mm, humanity. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're talking about the experience of being a sighted guide, uh, one of the things that taught me was to be appreciative. I'm around someone who's blind, someone who can't see. Simple things like eating lunch, opening doors, simple things that we take for granted. And I remind myself all the time, if I think poor me, if I think something is, I can see. How fortunate is it that I can see? My best friend can't see. He never complains. How in the world can I complain about something when I can see? So it's a reminder to be thankful, and it's really appreciative to see the effect he has on others, to know that you're a small part of it. I always say I don't count. I'm just a dead end of the rope, but I am a small part of it, and we are a team when we do it. But nobody really sees me. They see him, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And they gain so much from him. But I get a good feeling just by being able to do it, and it's a lot of fun. He's a good guy. We spend a lot of time laughing and joking, and I'm pretty competitive, so I'm always pushing him. Come on, let's go, let's go. Let's go faster. And he's more into the enjoyment of doing it and feeling good about it. But I push him all the time. We do what's called a PR, a personal record. And every time you do something again, like a 5K or a triathlon, you want to beat the last one to get your personal record lower. So I'm always pushing for that personal record where he's more personable. We ride a bike. Swimming, we swim 800 meters. We ride a bike for about 50 kilometers, and we run 5K. That's the five. That's the triathlon. So he's on a bike, and he a bike for two. So he's on the back, and I can hear him talking to people and everything. Hey, man, let's pedal. You don't have time. You got time to talk. You got time to pedal. So I'm really competitive, but we have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. How do you personally define success at this stage of your life?
I think success at this point is just being able to walk around. As you progress in life, you have injuries, there's many things you have to overcome that you don't think about until you're there. And the biggest thing is to try to, I tell everybody, I'm always, how old are you? I always ask, how old are you? And I tell them I have a mental age and it's 19. I really believe I'm 19. And so I do everything with that mindset. I never really think of age as a limiting factor because I don't think of age. I never think of anything this part of my life compared to another part of my life. I focus on where I am while I'm there and enjoy it. The knowledge I've learned along the way, I try to apply it to each day. And we always learn and we take that knowledge forward. But to me, I don't really, I'm very thankful at this point in my life. I can travel around the world. I'm on my way to Pakistan. I'll be in Pakistan in January for a couple of weeks. And from there, I'm going to Nepal and to Dubai. And I was supposed to go to Sri Lanka as well, but I don't know if you have it. There's really bad flooding in Sri Lanka. So I'm traveling around the world, and I've just come back from India, so I'm very, very fortunate to be physically fit enough and healthy enough at this point in my life to do the things I really did when I was 19.
Yeah, you are totally right, and I understand. Thank you. What is your view on the future of space exploration, and technology?
I think it's advancing. It's advancing as rapidly as it can. The limitations are money. That's funding. You need money to develop things, and money is always a limiting factor. But I think around the world, especially with AI and more countries now getting involved. It used to be uh, pretty much only America had a space program, and then Russia had a space program, but other countries now have very good. India has a very good space program, and Pakistan certainly has the capability to have a good space program because people in Pakistan are very smart and very thoughtful. I love going to the universities. I love going to the schools. I love being around people in Pakistan. They're exceptionally kind and really just fun to be around. And all of the kids, I do these interviews because I love doing the interviews. But I think the space programs around the world are getting well more advanced, and commercial companies are now involved as too. So the more entities involved, the more development is going to happen quicker. And hopefully, the biggest thing is we learn to stay, hopefully, to get along and share knowledge and become a better planet. I have my doubts because we can't. One of the most interesting questions I was ever asked in over 10 years of doing speaking was by a 10-year-old boy in America. And he said, how come we can get along in space and we can't get along on Earth? And I sadly I think we won't get along in space. As more and more people among countries, there's more competition, there's more money at stake. All of that stuff is, it factors into how countries get along and how things are developed. So I wish we could find a way to just get along and help each other instead of. I use India and Pakistan as a great example. These two countries are one. There's no reason they should be killing each other ever, and mistrust, and it's just really sad to me because I go to both countries. I see both countries the same, and then I see the people are exactly the same. Very kind, very giving, very smart. The people are the same, and it's sad that governments and outside influences cause mistrust and hatred when it's there's no reason for it.
Thank you, Gabe. Uh, what skills do you believe the next generation of engineers must develop to be competitive?
Yeah, I think that the technology will be the limiting factor as technology increases, and engineers and people in any field are going to have to learn to advance with technology and to push technology and to try to develop new things. So I never limit anything to one thing. It applies to most things, and I think it's just the challenge of keeping up with the changing, because things are changing quickly, and especially with AI. AI to me is it's really not understood because it's being developed as we progress. And my biggest concern with AI is people forget that the most important thing in the world are people, and we have to learn to get along. No matter what we do with any kind of anything else, we have to learn to get along and support each other. And if we do that, everything else will be better.
Yeah. My last question is, what is one lesson you wish everyone could understand earlier in life?
To believe in themselves. I think, and many people never do that. But the earlier you learn to believe in yourself, the sooner you can get that confidence in yourself. And it's very challenging to do that. It's growing up. You have things where you don't do well, or somebody else is doing better than you, and so you're constantly trying to find yourself and feel good about yourself. And the most important thing is to learn to develop that belief in yourself as early as possible. And once you feel that belief in yourself, everything gets easier. You really, like I said, you don't stress, you don't have pressure. You just have this inner confidence, and often you project that subconsciously. So you stand up taller, you smile more, you just feel better about life, and people see that in you, and they gravitate towards you. So I think that's the biggest thing, and very most people are very self-critical. It's really bad. Girls, especially girls, are extremely self-critical. Most girls are taught if you feel good about yourself, you're conceited, and that's wrong. So most girls around the world, and it doesn't matter the country, the culture, the dress, are very self-critical, and they've been taught if you feel good about yourself, you're conceited, and that's wrong. So they tend to look for negatives, and it's really sad. Most girls, I tell girls all the time, you look your absolute best when you wake up in the morning. One eye's closed, your hair is a mess. Learn to like that girl. Look at that girl in the mirror, say, you look pretty good, and progress through the day. And anything that you add to that, you make it look good. You don't add something and it makes you look good. It's always you first. And you will learn to do that. For guys often want to be super muscular and super strong and make a whole bunch of money and put pressure and stress on themselves that way, and they don't have to. That's why I say do your best. Wherever that takes you, accept it. Stay out of debt. Stay out of debt is really important. Learn to be responsible. This thing you want to learn earlier in life. The earlier you can learn those lessons, the better your life will be. And sadly, many people never learn them. They struggle always.
Thank you so much, Sir Gabe, for sharing your inspiring journey with us. It was an honor to learn from you. You are really a graceful personality. I'm really impressed.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be with you as well. I like the way you ask your questions. I like the way that you're having fun doing it. I can tell you're listening to the answers, and in order to learn, you have to do three things. First, you have to listen, then you have to evaluate, and then you have to adapt. If all three, if you're not willing to do all those three, you'll never learn. So I can see you doing that, and I can tell. I can't see your smile, but I can feel it through your eyes. And I tell people all the time, your eyes tell a story. You can see a smile in somebody's eyes. You can see sadness in somebody's eyes. You can tell a lot by looking in the eyes. And one of the things I do, when if you ever see pictures of me, whenever I'm speaking with students of any age, I'm never above them. I'm always eye to eye, always. I'll sit on the floor. I'll kneel down. I'm never looking down on anybody that I'm speaking with, and I think that helps make the connection so much easier for everybody.
Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. See you in Pakistan in January.
Thank you, Sir